have more Livermore Valley wineries here today, and I am here with Jennifer Sahara. And Jennifer is the owner as well as the winemaker here at Sakura Winery, correct?
Yes.
Good. Interesting name. Tell me about the name.
So Sakura or Sakura means cherry blossoms in Japanese. And I picked that name because the cherry blossoms last for only like a week, maybe 2 at the most. Right. And they're beautiful, but they don't last very long. And so it's kind of a reminder to savor the moment, live in the moment, appreciate things while you can.
I'm assuming you are of Japanese heritage?
Yes, I'm a 4th generation.
So how long have you been in business here?
So we kind of officially launched, or not officially, but we kind of launched earlier this year. And we still don't have our tasting room open. We're working on a few final things with the county before we can open publicly.
Sure.
But yeah, so we've been at this property for about 3 years, and just started with the licensing and everything, got our permits, and then I started taking winemaking classes. When we came here 3 years ago, I really didn't know much about wine other than I really like to drink it. And so we ended up here just because my husband and daughter and I wanted to move to this area, maybe get someplace a little more out in the, closer to nature kind of a thing. Sure, and maybe more space in case our parents wanted to come live with us, and found this place with the vineyard, and it just kind of went from there.
Not bad.
Yeah, but so it's been 3 years since we started this venture, but really this year is when things have started to pick up for the business.
So where are you from originally?
So I grew up in Davis, went to college there.
Ironic that you grew up in Davis, yeah.
and then went down to Stanford for school and stayed in the area for work. So I've been down in the South Bay doing my engineering job for many years, and then moved here 3 years ago.
So are you a mechanical engineer then?
Oh, so I'm an aerospace engineer. I work
of course you are. You're a rocket scientist. I'm sure you've been called that more than once.
Yes, and that's not far off.
That's pretty amazing.
So, yeah, it's been fun. I really enjoy it.
What kind of stuff do you do?
So satellites. I would figure out how much fuel to load on the satellite, when to fire the thrusters so we can stay where we need to or get to where we need to if we're moving around. So it's mostly orbital analysis for satellites.
Let's not talk about wine. I'm a boy. Are you working for an individual contractor? Are you working for NASA? Or?
I work for Lockheed Martin.
I've heard of them. Yeah, somewhere I've heard of them.
Somewhere, yeah. And my husband is a mechanical and materials engineer. And so
of course he is.
Yeah, right. So it's good. It's good. Hey, I need something to do this. Can you help me? Yeah.
Well, you complement each other in that way, right?
Yeah.
So what kinds of wines are you bottling here?
Okay, so on the property we have 3 types of grapes that we grow. We have a Cabernet Sauvignon, Tempranillo, and then a little bit of Petit Verdot. And so we bottle all of those. And then we also last year, I think we talked about it, brought in the Pinot Blanc.
And I'm curious about why you brought in Pinot Blanc, only because, again, in this area, that's not a very common grape to be working with.
Right.
More than anything, Alsace and that kind of an area.
Yeah. So, we only have the red wines here, so I was looking for a white to bring in, and I had tasted the Pinot Blanc from a previous year from this vineyard, and went and saw the vineyard, and it's gorgeous. It's an amazing vineyard, and the person, Rosemary Chang, she's awesome to work with, and just said, you know what, I want to do that, and tried it, and actually. Alex and from 3 Steves,
yes.
Steven, Jason, and Alex, they custom crushed that for us this year, and it turned out beautifully. I opted to do it in stainless steel for the aging no barrels, and it turned out great. In fact, it ended up taking Best of Show White at the Alameda County Fair.
So there is a women winemaker group here in Livermore Valley. Are you involved with that?
Yes.
Cool.
So, Alex Henkelman started that up, and it's been a really great place where we just meet and talk and support each other, and we've had events in town, and it's really been a wonderful thing. I joined, I think it was late last year, maybe earlier. Yeah, late last year. And it's been really great getting to know everybody there.
How long have you been drinking wine?
So actually, that goes back to engineering. I would travel to France for one of the jobs that I had working with a launch vehicle provider. And fresh out of college, I'd go and they would say, here's some really great wine. And I was not used to drinking wine a lot, but I learned to. And yeah, through that whole experience, I really developed a love for wines, and particularly red wines at that time.
So after you had these experiences in France, I assume you started tasting more American wines just to kind of see what the differences were?
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
I actually I found wines in the U.S. that I liked too. And it was interesting, it wasn't until later that I found white wines that I liked. I didn't have white wines in France. And so I guess when I tasted wines in France, I knew what good wines were, because they did serve us good wines as the business dinners that we would do. And so I came back knowing what I was looking for. The white wines I didn't know. And so I was trying different things and I didn't really find anything that I liked. And I thought, I think I don't like white. And then actually it was coming here when I would try some of the other wineries, white wines, and I went, these are amazing. And so it was just a matter of finding really good white wines.
When you went down this particular path to be a winemaker, which is, as you have clearly learned, is a major commitment, were your friends, family, otherwise looking at you going, have you lost your mind?
So I didn't give him any time to say that. I mean, we basically weren't looking to do this at all. We had basically been looking for a place to move with a little more space, and found this property with the vineyards on it, fell in love with it, and it just kind of happened. It just went from there.
Wow.
So there was no, hey, should we do this? Should we not? We were living here and then made the decision to go. So it just it happened pretty quickly.
How many acres are you farming here on the property?
So we have about an acre of Cabernet Sauvignon, 3/4 of an acre of Tempranillo, and then 1/4 of an acre of Petit Verdot. So about 2 acres total of vines.
Now, you were talking about wanting to have involvement in the vineyards, and again, it's part of your education. But what about harvest? Are you hands-on?
So for the Tempranillo and Cab Sauv, we haven't been, but each year the Petit Verdot, since it's so small and it's harvested on a different date, we actually do a little friends and family harvest day. And
sure.
Yeah, so the rosé, making the rosé this last year was fun. It was harvesting, and then everybody stayed and helped with the crushing and the pressing, and so it was a real family endeavor.
For the tasting room, when it opens, will this be by appointment? Can people just come up here and see if they can come walk in? How will that work?
So the hope is to do maybe a couple of days a month where people can just walk in, and then probably would allow some time for appointments as well, since that's not too many days a month for people to come check us out.
And for our listeners who'd like to learn a little bit more about you online, what is your website?
It is sakurawinery.com, and that's Sakura.
And you say it the right way. Jennifer, this has been a lot of fun talking to you, and
Thank you.
I'm very much in awe of your day job, I have to say. But thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.